Welcome to the latest Stompy 51 miniature adventure, which frankly is little more than a gorgeous tabletop What's on the Workbench update. Now, it's not been a very heavy-duty painting kind of few weeks. I've done a little bit of ongoing work on these two orc characters because I've been playing orcs, which you'll see from my previous and upcoming battle reports. And so I've had a sense of what I'd like to get back into the fight on that score. This is a beautiful, it's a Brian Nelson model, which I painted a long time ago, not very well, and now I'm trying to paint it in my current, level, I guess, and style. Look at that massive sword. The joke is I actually found the equivalent sword in a box after gluing on this plastic one, but the old one was basically the same as this one, just a bit smaller. And, he used to have one of these in his youth, to remind him of his days running around, smashing people on the head with his chopper before he realized his magical powers and greater purpose. He doesn't look great, but he's a work in progress. He'll be all right. I've been listening to all of these great fun YouTube videos on tactics for orcs and goblins, and they all suggest having two of these running around like mayhem. But at the moment, it's been a long time since I painted a monster of any kind. And they do take longer than I remember. He probably does need a shield, but I don't want to obscure his great bodywork over there with it, but we shall see. This is early stages. I think, again, I'm keeping it reasonably simple. I don't want to spend the rest of the month highlighting every single little fold of skin in his wings, but we shall see. So goodbye, orkies. And then, because my mind is, as you know, a giant ping pong machine, as two of the games I've played have been against dwarves, and I have a lot of dwarves which I've been collecting for years. I pulled out what I had done. I'm going to have to rebase these warriors, which are not that great in the game, I suspect. But again, you'll see that I've been trying to go for a level of achievability. So especially with metal, a lot of it is just weathering, and I think good enough. They scream character, having been dragged out of the holds to fight as afeared against the evil Skaven or orc incursions. He's going to be part of the cannon crew. Rattling miniatures, I think that is. And he's obviously pretty old school. And I like how I've done his skin. He looks pretty, a pretty serious kind of fella. But either I'm going to just break off these bases and put them on bigger ones, or cut them off. Then how do I bring this up? Oh, this is about half of it, but it's the half that I worked on last week when I came back from holiday. So basically, I've been rebasing all these goblins. Dwarfs, you know what I mean. Look, it's late. And this is about 40 warriors, and a couple of little dioramas just to block them in, bog them out. You can, in the Arcane Journal, get a mining cart as a little upgrade. Well, it seems to be like a little chariot, and I had one of I'd swapped for one of these little ponies. I had a whole load of old Warhammer books, like 4th, 5th and 6th edition rule books, which hadn't been used for years. And the reality is I'm never going to be part of some kind of community that plays that. So I kept the Dwarf one, which I liked. I kept the Empire one, which I liked. And I got rid of all the other random ones. And I swapped for a load of Dwarf stuff, more Dwarf stuff with someone. I've been swapping for Dwarf stuff for about 10 years, which is why, even though people do say that they are not that exciting to play in the old world, I thought, why not? They are a different approach to playing. Yes, they do involve heavy infantry blocks. They don't really move anywhere with loads of runes and artillery. But I think, you can get gyrocopters, and I think there are other ways of jazzing it up. And this is one of them. I picked up this rock on some volcanic island about 5 years ago and thought it will have a wargaming purpose. There were obviously a gazillion of these rocks, pebbles. And I think I'll just paint all of these gold. Maybe that one gold and the rest of them silver or something. I'm not sure my painting is sophisticated enough to paint them brown with kind of speckles of metal on them. And he is another little ratnik figure who I think was just walking on the journey or something. And I gave him one of the miners' picks. And I'm not sure the rules for them are. I think they involve chucking things, chucking dynamite at people. This also is a ratnik miniatures figure, and it's for some reason they seem to be nicking a dragon egg, and he's realised it's going to fall, and he's and he's having a bit of a Father Ted moment of, you know, impending comic catastrophe. This, I guess, will be... Oh, where is he? Where is he? This is... Somewhere in here is the rider. I'll find it eventually. Anyway, that's a gyrocopter. I'm not sure about mixing these in with the more modern ones. Apparently the gyro bombers are no good. But I shall see what I get. So how can I do that? Maybe I might just lift this off. I'll lift this off. Bear with me. I'll try to keep a steady hand. Do I have a steady hand? No. Okay, so that's another diorama. Two dwarfs doing a deal. Again, Ratnik miniatures. They couldn't help themselves, you know. The enemy are impending, but, you know, just one last exchange for some precious metals with a miner's cart. It's not a miner's cart, some kind of wheelbarrow from the miner's kit, which I don't have, but again, I swapped for peripheral bits from. And this is a 50mm by 50mm, so it can be slotted in as a unit filler. So much character, and again, Ratnik miniatures. These Wargames Foundry, and I'll give him this Byzantine shield, which I think suits him quite well. I swapped some of those books I mentioned for this rune, this bolt thrower, and apparently you can source it up with all manner of runes, which will make it fun. Well, fun for me, if not for my opponent. And then loads of dwarves, which I've shown before, of varying manufacturers. There's the crew for the bolt thrower. I have, I think, 32 of these handgunners. Thunderers, I think they're called. So I think I'll have 2 units of those, 2 cannon, that bolt thrower, and then 2 units of these clan dwarfs. And then I'd like to have 1 unit of longbeards. I've got about 12 longbeards, and I'm just trying on Facebook to swap for more, because people seem to charge like 20 quid per longbeard, and given how much old-timer stuff I have, there must be people who don't want longbeards, but would like some of what I have. More dwarves, even more dwarves. Clan McFiggin from the guys at Oathmark Miniatures. Kev Adams, who, did you know, sculpted as many dwarves as he did goblins. Well, maybe that's not true, but he certainly did a lot. Good old Ratnik, his look very Anglo-Saxon. Sutton Hoo, and are a bit fiddlier to paint. The easiest ones to paint, I would say, are the Foundry ones, because they are pretty simple, but extremely characterful. Some I spray painted, some I didn't. I'm not sure that metallic is a great colour to undercoat in. But to be fair, in the miniatures I just showed you, it does work out. What are these? These were part of the book swap. Most of these I've had for more than 10 years, by the way, but some of these were part of the swap. So Doomseekers, they seem to be a must-take in all of the rule sets, in all of the army lists. I'm a bit concerned about the long, thin chains, but I think I'm just going to glue them to the base. Apparently, they're the only slayers you want, which is a shame, because I've got about 30 slayers, but I don't think I would take them initially. This will be, well, I thought it would be a unit filler, and I'm going to put some milliput on the base to build it up, because I had this civilized looking troll for a long time with no purpose. And you don't really need wizards in old world for dwarves. So I thought, hey, these could just be some kind of Fellowship of the Ring type friendship group who just go out and carry out, the Edda saga or whatever. And I could use them as a filler. But I think they're too big to be a filler, because you don't need that many dwarf clansmen. But I thought, hey, why not? It'll at least have a purpose. And there are plenty of agnostic rule sets where you can just make this a magical monster. Anyway, you may be unpersuaded by that one. Anyway, did I find? Here he is. Where's Wally? There's Wally. Let's see what Wally looks like when he's sitting properly in his gyrocopter. So you see, the question is, do I spend the rest of the year basically painting goblins, or do I depart and start painting dwarves? The thing is, I've realised I need to just get rid of a load of stuff, because, I'm not a young man, and there's no point in having a gazillion projects just sitting in a garage that you've picked up over the years. And so on my Facebook profile, I have got rid of, I'm trying to get rid of loads of stuff, but I don't want to flog it. I'd rather swap it. So I might do a video actually of projects I've abandoned. Well, at least in spirit, because they've not been abandoned yet in practice. I will leave you with a call to the arms of painting, which I can fairly say that I embraced last Sunday, but that is one for later. For now, thank you for watching to the end. Please do leave comments, which, as you know, my regulars know I always respond to, and subscribe so that more people can see my rambling musings. Keep well, keep safe, and see you soon.